Chapter 915, Bakra Town, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Podcast. I am the best guy ever, and this is Hypocrite.
Hey, it was Bellamy.
It sure was, guys. Chapter 915, Bakra Town. That's
Chibibaka
what it
Town.
Is. Chibibaka Ramen Town. Oh, that sounds good. I could go for a big old bowl of noodles. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome. Volume 43, cover arc side story, A Pirate's Retirement, The Dyed Goods Craftsman, Bellamy. As Gibbo pointed out here, it appears, last chapter, last cover page was a big old bunch of banners, like the Dyed Goods Town or whatever, and here we see Bellamy fucking painting on this thing. He's making a dye in some cloth.
Presumably, he's retired from being a pirate. I guess at the end of
Apparently.
Dressrosa, maybe he mentioned something like that. I can't really remember.
So everybody who he did not mention anything. Well, maybe he did. I could be forgetting something.
Maybe be like, all I really wanted was to punch my boss, and you helped me do that, Luffy-san, so I'm going now. Goodbye.
He just idolized, like, Doflamingo, and he basically just was a good old... Well, he wasn't exact. He was actually a monster, if you remember his, like, introduction. He was a complete fucking sociopathic freak.
Yes, he was a terrible guy, which is why it's so good that he got punched in that one scene.
Yeah. He got punched a few times, and it really made him a good lad. That's what we all need.
Yeah, knocked some sense into him. But now he's been a pirate again, and now is not a pirate. He's going to do craftsmanship. He's painting things. I'm not really sure where this could go, other than he decides to start his own crew and then join the Grand Fleet.
Well, yeah, I mean, so let's not forget, this is volume 43 of the, quote, Tales of the Self-Proclaimed Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So, by the mere fact that is the name of the cover arc here, it doesn't change, it's still that, and we're seeing Bellamy. Sure seems like Oda's given us a not-so-subtle hint that Bellamy is on Team Luffy now, in some capacity, either as a pirate or otherwise. I think what's going to happen is that the name of this particular like page chapter, quote unquote, of the single page cover arc is like Bellamy wants to retire. I think that he will possibly actually retire, but he'll still be like an ally of Luffy's in some way.
He'll join the crew as a flag painter. They need one of those.
That's what we needed. We really needed that.
Usopp's good, but we don't have like a professional.
I guess. But by the way, I do want to point out, I'm looking at last week's cover arc. It is not, I just want to say, I was completely on point thinking that wasn't Bellamy, because I'm looking at him now. I'm comparing, like, Bellamy is so much wider than he looked in that fucking thing, than this last week's cover arc page. Oda, what's the deal? What's the deal, buddy? Look at him. Look at him.
You're right.
And you look at his arm, right?
It's really just the hair might be too fluffy for that, and then
it is a bit
makes
fluffy.
his rest of him look. And then the next
Everything
thing, he's wearing
fine.
a hat. He's wearing a thing. Well, I guess the other guy gave him.
Well,
that.
he put it on later when he was doing the work, I assume.
So you can't see how fluffy his hair is.
And look at his arm. Look at his arm. Like, he's got, I guess this is just, what, like, muscle lines on his arm? Because the tattoo, as I assessed correctly, is much up higher on his arm than like, elbow level that we can see there. All right, point is, I'm just defending myself. I was reasonable to assume it wasn't Bellamy. I win. Everyone else loses. That's my point. Okay, but
just admit
let's see what
defeat.
happens.
I win this.
Never.
This battle.
I don't.
Also, notice there's a little
smart.
girl there. She's like an apprentice or like granddaughter of that guy with the thing.
Bellamy love interest, confirmed pedophile Bellamy.
Yes, and now on to the chapter because there's not really much to say.
Okay, let's get through this slog of a chapter. All right, here we go. Wano-kuni, Bakra Town. I don't know what that means. Probably means something. Hang on a second. Hang on just 1 second on this first panel. Is that thing floating in the air? You see what
I saw that, and I was like, what does it mean to be... I
didn't notice that
what
before.
I imagine is that they didn't want to draw the things all the way to the ground because that would obfuscate the action.
Right.
But
so
then I don't. If you
But,
do
like, it
that,
doesn't
you would
even
leave.
look like-
You would leave like a little gap at the bottom to show that it's not actually that short.
Yeah.
It would
There's
poles.
this old trick I remember. I mean, you see it all the time in anime of where like people who are wearing glasses, if you look at them like from a side angle, they like edit out the line of the glasses. You can see their eye, even though in the real world there would be like stuff in the way. The way this is drawn, I really do not get the sense that's what they're going for here.
Yeah.
It doesn't like fade out. It's just
it-
hard lines.
It's just
is that
there's no like wires of suspending it. It just
No, I
seems
mean-
to be like a weird thing.
Indeed. Okay, well, whatever. I mean,
I
it's
can't
not, it's
remember
not that
whether that
strange in
like
One
is
Piece.
shown later to be floating, but
I'm gonna be
I'll
keeping
look
an
more
eye out.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we go through this. So,
Anyway,
okay.
we got
Wrestle
Big
Boys,
Man.
Sumo Man. The E Honda is here. He's ready to play Street Fighter 2, and there he goes. He's talking about some bullshit. He's like, "Oh, I love O-kiku. I want to marry her because I have all the stuff. I have social standing and fame and safe food. Every woman's dream." She can't reject all this.
He's a big
This man is
boy.
really...
He's got a lot of safe food.
He's got so much, and he eats a lot of it. And everyone, I don't know, God, I don't care about any of these characters. He's talking to, like, somebody next to him. Like, I don't care about this guy. I don't care
The
about
Mouse
Man. He's fucking talking
Like
to.
what would his thing be? That he is like a zone. You turn into a mouse.
He's
You
a
can hear
sneaky
things.
quick
Like
boy?
Like you
He does have
smell
gigantic
cheese.
ears. I mean, that's helpful, I guess.
But mice.
Yeah, like, what advantage was given here by becoming a mouse smile user? Doesn't seem like
I
much.
guess all I can imagine is that you have teeth to nibble things, to gnaw through things, I guess.
I suppose. But if you compare him to Wrestle Boy below him, like panel for panel, their teeth look the same, though. So I'm not sure how much advantage he really got there. You know what I'm going to chalk this one up to? Kaido has stated previously how he just wants a crew made up of 100% ability users. And I think he'll just be like, whatever, just give him a fucking smile. I don't really care if it makes him that much stronger. It's just a thing I want to do. Have everybody
Yeah.
be like a smile user or whatever. So some of them just get shitty ones like this guy. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But what a freak! I like the rough and tumble look of these gifters of Kaido's crew compared to like the Japanese
they're
boys.
more like Frankenstein freaks. Mutants.
They kind of remind me of like the Mad Max outfits with their all leather bands and shoulder pads. And
yeah.
motorcycle boys. It's cool. It's cool. You know
Anyway.
what they remind me of? Who's the guy who sings Ace of Spades from that band? You know, he died recently.
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy.
AC/DC man.
No, he was not an
Oh
AC/DC.
no,
It was-
that was Black. No, not Black Sabbath.
No, it's not that
Motorhead.
either.
Lemmy
Motorhead.
from Motorhead. That's the one.
That's the one. That's the guy. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, so he's just telling like the guy like, hey, you know, you're a powerful man. You can just take her. You can just rape her. You can just do whatever
What?
you want to her. And she's like,
Wow.
wow, I don't need to respect her at all. I can just take her. I burned down her village. Yeah. And then he
You know what's
smashes
interesting, though?
his food and he eats a raccoon. He's a very bad man right here.
So he's just like, hey, there's a raccoon dog. So we're seeing an actual tanuki here. And he's just like, I want to eat that motherfucking tanuki right now. Also, Jiminy, why in God's name did you translate tanuki as raccoon dog? Like, tanuki is a well-known Japanese creature. Just call it a fucking tanuki. You don't have to call it a raccoon dog.
Oh yeah,
That's-
I never really thought about that. That is like a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's the tanuki suit from Mario. There's those giant tanuki statue with huge balls that everybody loves.
Isn't the tanuki like a mythical creature?
It
Or
is, yeah. It's not real. It's not real,
so they
but it
just
is in
casually
Japan.
have
Fake
like
land.
real tanuki.
Yeah, I mean that's what One Piece is good for. Here's an interesting thing. As I'm going through this, I'm enjoying observing. There's a lot of this in this chapter. The like reflection on Japanese society in the past, and it's making me wonder, like, how much of this is just a silly story that Oda's telling, and how much of it might just be Oda in some way like commenting on actual Japanese history, like how a Yokozuna could just go snag a bitch, and man, those were fucked up Japan times back then. Is there any of that? Should I be even reading into that? What do you think?
I feel like if it's in any place,
Mm-hmm.
it would be about Japan, because I feel like he would feel more comfortable talking about his own country in that way than some other culture that he hasn't lived with or know
Perhaps
much
more
about.
Successfully than the inclusion of King Tacos and his his
or
cavalcade of
like
characters.
at Dressrosa, the two like Indian-inspired fighters, or like Afghani sort of fighters with the turbans, the terrorist duo.
Abdullah and Jeet. Yeah. One for each tower.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think he's really making a statement. I can imagine a lot of this is just mythical stories about Japanese stuff. And there was a story of a big samurai who stole all the women and all the food, and the people were sad and hungry. Like, it would just be something as simple as that, possibly. Rather than, wasn't Japan bad? Like, I don't think that would be the motivation behind all this.
That's fair. Japan wasn't all bad. Japan, did I tell the story last week about the comfort women? I think I did. That was some fucked up. Japan was fucked up in the olden days. They were really basically evil.
Fucking everyone was fucked up.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. That is absolutely fair. Like, everyone, if you go back long enough, literally all our ancestors are rapists and murderers. So why get too bent out of shape
back in
Whatever.
the old medieval English times, it was considered a fair game if you took over a town that an enemy was had. You could take your pick of the women, rape them, and bring them home as a wife and start a family. Like, that's how...
Why did we start a... Why did you do that, Gib? You gotta stop doing that, dude.
It was just okay. It was just socially okay, and I just went along with it. I didn't know, okay? I didn't know.
All right. Well, hashtag me too... there you
Tanuki.
go. Me too. There it is.
Tanuki. By the way, Tanukis.
That's what I was looking for.
Chopper is going to meet real Tanukis. People are going to confuse him with Tanukis.
True.
Or, in a twist, people are going to be like, hang on, that, Chopper has to, hide as a Tanuki, and it doesn't work. Because they'll be like, if anyone was
to
reindeer.
look at... if anyone was to look at Chopper and say, oh, that's definitely not a Tanuki, it'd be the Japs, who fucking are very well versed on what a Tanuki does look like, seeing as they exist here.
I'm calling that joke
there you go.
now. That one panel or two panels, that's confirmed.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Anyway,
all right, so here we go.
So
More
we go up to where they took little girl. I forget her name every time.
O-tama. I'm gonna try to remember. It's very hard.
And interesting point of thing to notice is Gazelle Man is fucking really out of breath.
Indeed.
Like, he ran all that way, and they draw attention to it. He says his sides hurt in his thoughts, like he's huffing and puffing. I think this is setting up the incompatibility and perhaps the crippledness of the Kaido troops. Like, if all the Kaido troops are smile users, this manufactured fucked up Transylvania Frankenstein devil fruit magical thing made in an artificial lab, and it gives them power, but it doesn't really work. I think this will be
it's definitely not complete.
I think this is the way, how with Big Mom, the family was they said, oh yes, we're all together, but then there was cracks everywhere.
Absolutely.
Because it was a family ruled by fear rather than love. And in this is an army, it's the same sort of there's a fatal flaw in Kaido's ideals, represented through this smile that is not necessarily actually making strong soldiers. It is just fucking people.
Yeah. He's got this ideal of a perfect all devil fruit user crew that definitely may or may not have been the best thing to make your priority. Look at somebody like fucking Zoro, not a devil fruit user, pretty strong lad. He will slice you. So yeah, that's fair. But we mustn't forget, he is a Yonko, so he's got to have some strong
obviously.
boys.
But
if
there's a thing to exploit, it's this.
Yeah. True. And I would say that furthermore, I think this is kind of setting up the fact that we know for a fact that Kaido has many smile users in his crew. When we see a smile user, almost every devil fruit user we ever see, unless they're clearly like non-combatants, they're always like very powerful. Because like it's cool to see Devil Fruit users, and we want to see them do cool stuff and have cool fights. So there's a level of expectation there. I think Oda is saying, like, guys, just so you know, don't get too excited about these smile users. They're really not that special. Like, if you just take a normal soul, like a normal grunt, and give him a smile, does not make him a badass. Does not. Gives him a little bit of speed power or something. But the fact that this guy is so winded just shows he's really not that tough, strong, powerful guy.
It's allowing Kaido to have an army full of grunts who have animal abilities without making each of them their own distinct character with a double fruit that has to be unique.
I think Oda
and stuff.
So far Oda has introduced us to every single smile user with a little like intro panel. There's no way he can sustain that for this whole thing. So I think he's just given us a couple here.
I think the smilers, what are they called? The
Gifters.
There's going to be like, I don't know, 5-10 of those, and they're going to be like an elite team.
There's got to be way more. They had factories that made smiles.
No. The gifters are the one group, and then they'd have other groups that are like, you know, the pushers, the jumpers,
the slurpers, the boppers, the twisters, the pullers,
the crunchers, all those.
Number munchers. Yeah, okay. All right, well, we'll see.
Anyway, getting on to the best thing about the chapter.
Oh yes.
Is Holdem with a little what do you call it? Misdirection. You think it's the lion, but the lion is part of his stomach. That's a great character design.
All right, we have to dissect this. Holdem. He is the pirate headliner. He's equal ranks with Hawkins, which I'd like to point out makes Hawkins seem very unimpressive comparatively, but that's fine. He'll have a chance to prove himself. So this creature is a man who ate a lion smile. And okay, so now we're confirming this. So he has a bit of a lion just coming out of his stomach. 2 questions. 1, what advantage does this give him in any way? I guess he has another like mouth that can bite you. I mean, that's true.
He has like some claws that can swipe. He just needs to thrust his hips forwards to reach.
That's true. You know what? This actually reminds me. There's a character from Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, the movie, he's like a Beastmaster guy, and he has this thing where he looks kind of bestial, but then he can like make his whole chest and stomach become like a weird beast mouth and give you a bite. But then he died. That was okay. He was a cool guy. This guy's got a similar sort of thing going on. Well, but you can also see the lion's arms are also sticking out of the guy's chest. So it's pretty clear by the fact of this character existing, and I like this guy, that smiles are not good. You watch out for taking a fucking smile. They are in fact totally gonna fuck you up. Like Batman came out okay. He just like got special bat wings so he can fly while shooting his bow. Gazelle Man's all right, but then you can get a guy like Holdem here. And I mean, you're just taking your life in your hands if you do that shit. He doesn't even have full control over this fucking lion thing. It punches him in the dick immediately afterward.
That is like, I love this character. This idea that he can piss off the lion. The lion can stab him in his own balls, but the lion also gets hurt because it's the same body.
And the lion, they're like, oh, here he goes doing his signature technique. So the lion's done this many times before, and just like he's going to keep doing it. And there it is, the lion's bullseye shot, as it stabs itself in its own balls, which it's done many times before.
It's the funniest, like, weirdo character gimmick in a long time.
This is incredible. It's hard to digest, frankly.
All you would need is for this guy to have like a cool like backstory. Yeah. And then this is category number 2.
This is the guy. This is the guy who's going to elevate things beyond the heights that Katakuri took us to. Holdem's the man for that job.
He's got the goof.
I am O-tama in this panel of her being like, ugh, just like cringing away from this freak. I love that image of like we're seeing Holdem's reveal of his disgusting body and O-tama just like disgusted and just sad about how horrible it is that she even has to be near this thing. I feel the same way.
It's great. I love
This is hilarious. This is very good. I like this a lot. And then, like, as he's on the ground writhing in pain, he, like, begins to talk to O-tama and is like, hey, what did you do? How'd you tame that thing? Do you have an actual devil fruit power? We saw you pop that thing out of your cheek. And then, O-tama's just like, I better not tell him. I've been told by Master Longnose Sensei not to tell. She's like, I'm just really good with animals. And, of course, the guy, and this I like quite a bit, he's like, no, stop lying. We're going to start ripping your cheeks apart to, like, find these fucking,
These
mochi
cheek
or whatever
balls.
you got. So I like that. He's just cutthroat. He doesn't give a fuck. He's being the way I'd expect a pirate to be. And good. That's what I would hope to see.
Yeah. I'm wondering where the baboon is. Because they mention
just
it,
left.
and they keep talking about, like, this baboon is really important to us. We need this baboon power.
This seems to be like
baboon
a big
taming
deal to
thing.
them.
And it's like, I guess the baboon's going to come back at some point and, like, punch somebody. It'd be like, "Rah, I'm on Luffy's
You know what
side."
I think it is? I think the reason that the baboon thing keeps coming up, and the reason why, like, O-tama here is, like, kind of being made into, like, an important character is because they're really interested in, like, her power and how it, like, made an animal, like, tame or something. I don't know, like, the Kaido pirate, the beast pirates are very animal related, obviously. And, like, maybe there is some animal they really want to tame. Maybe some sort of dragon or so. I don't know. And maybe, like, the existence of O-tama's power is, like, they're like, oh, wow, this could be... Like, we've heard rumors about this power for a long time, and we've been trying to find, like, the person who uses it. Maybe... I feel like they're building to something heavily plot relevant with all this time spent on, like, people interested in their power and stuff.
It wouldn't be very satisfying if this whole O-tama being captured a bunch of times had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
It should. I would definitely like to see what they need her for.
Yeah.
Because you would think a beast pirate crew would know how to tame beasts. They wouldn't need a little girl's power. But I don't know.
It reminds me a little bit of Isa from Skypiea, like the little girl who hung out with Luffy for a long time. The girl who, like, had mantra, or now observation haki as it's now known. No, it was mantra. Like, she hung out with Luffy for a long time, and, like, her role in the story was, like, she didn't do anything with her mantra, but she, like, helped Luffy find where to go, and just, like, she was helpful for, like, because mantra allows you to sense people, because there was, like, a death game going on in Skypiea. She, like, allowed the narrative to move forward and, like, kind of be a Deus Ex Machina in the sense of just, like, delivering, like, oh, yeah, more voices have disappeared, like, more people are dying, the game is progressing. So she was, like, a useful, relevant tool to the story. This power is obviously different, but I hope to see something similar, probably more active, because this is, like, an active power of hers, but show us more, Oda. Guys, let me build us something cool with this, and I'm sure he will. All right.
So now we got the guys. We got Zoro, O-kiku, and Luffy.
There you go. Well done.
Dog riding into town. I just want to say, because we don't often talk about the backgrounds. The town here, it just looks really lovely. Like the way it's drawn with all the curves on all the roofs and the thing, and it's all sort of like I draw sometimes, and drawing backgrounds is always a pain in the butt, and drawing like a lot of detailed buildings is definitely that. And this is just like, it's so much detail, so much, but it's so like, it's so playful, it's so lovely. It's like,
this page
feels like it was fun to draw. Somehow.
I hear ya. I think that particular panel there is a little one-dimensional, but like on page 1 or whatever, like the first page where we see like that weird floating, what appears to be floating thing, like there I can see a bunch of stuff that does look good. Like I like that shot a little bit better, where you can see like up the street and you can see them doing shit. But like, I don't know, there's a lot of personality going on. All these like Japan people walking on the streets, and like as you said, the curvature of the house is very silly. I'm sure there's like a pun going on there. Like, if you just look at this one panel of them like arriving in this town on this street, like on the actual page we're on now here, like on the right there's like a dude leaning against a wall. On the left there's like a dude sitting down smoking. There's like people walking up and down the streets. They're all weirdly sized. You got big samurai, small samurai, kids and adults and all kinds of goofy shit. Like, obviously they're drawn very small and not detailed because they have to be, because it's fucking in a manga. But like, there's all these designs look really good. And I'm just surprised. And things have really kicked up a notch in terms of, I don't know, like the coolness of character designs. Even though they're just little sketches, little fucking drawings there, there's just a lot. Honestly, it's a little bit weird how much personality there is in like each of these kind of background filler characters. I'm like, oh, because a character looks that detailed, I'm expecting to get backstory on it, but they'll probably never show up again and just be like a one-time
that's
thing.
one of the things One Piece has always been good at. Not necessarily that having each background character being like really cool. I mean, in Japan, it's very easy to make someone look cool. You just have a kimono or some sort of a robe, and then you're like, whoa, badass. But like, all of the no-name characters who just have one line as they like as a group, like, oh, look at that, everybody. Yeah. Like, they always have a face and a design, and you can see them in multiple panels. And
Oda's been great with that.
Sometimes those characters like pop up again, and it's just like, whoa, like you don't need to go through all that, you know, the all that detail of having the background characters that don't mean anything have actual little designs that carry over from scene to scene. It's just nice. Like, looking at this panel, I'm reminded again how good the art is and how important it is to not skim everything. Like, trying to read it really quick, because it's like, this is a good-looking comic.
It really is. It really is. And such distinctive style. It's so great that One Piece isn't just some shitty, generic anime-looking comic. It's had its own style since the very beginning. That's great. That's great. So anyway, these samurai are giving our boys some guff. And they're just like, hey, Nani the fuck are you doing here, my samurai boy? And Luffy just gives them the old looky-loo. And they just fall the fuck down.
The old looky-loo.
Give them the old, that's what, like, when Shanks gave that shark man the old looky-loo in Chapter 1. That's what
a better name. That's a better name than, like, Conqueror's Haki.
I agree. I agree.
I didn't know that he had the looky-loo.
Oh my god. And of course, master of the looky-loo is Lucky Roo from those red-haired pirates. He's the most powerful Conqueror's Haki user in the whole series. It wasn't actually Shanks at all. It was Looky-Loo with the Rookie Roo, or whatever the fuck we're talking about.
Ruby Roo.
So Luffy looks cool. He just puts on I like this panel of him using the Conqueror's Haki. I like Luffy looking determined. Makes me feel happy to be alive. It reminds me that this person defeated Katakuri, the greatest man who ever lived. And I'm like, good. I want a man who was able to defeat Katakuri to be a complete badass and kick everyone's ass. Because to do otherwise would be an insult to Katakuri. And that is the standard I'm going to use for the rest of the series for Luffy.
He does the looky-loo, and they all fall down.
Mm-hmm.
And O-kiku turns around, she says, huh? Did you do something? And then in like big bold letters, presumably because Luffy just yelled it really loud.
Probably.
Haki. It's haki. It's what I do. Like, I don't know why that's big. Why did they do that?
I mean, the Japanese box might have just done it this way, because I'm sure it didn't. Obviously, it was translated, so who knows what it would look like in the Japanese.
Maybe it was just supposed to show how blunt he was, but I don't know.
But probably something like that. So we're learning, I guess, that at least O-kiku doesn't know about Haki. And I wonder if that implies that the rest of Wano-kuni... I mean, even in Wano-kuni here, like, they call things like devil fruits different stuff. So they might know what Haki is, but just, like, call it a different name or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he didn't call it Haki. He just did something. She didn't know what it was. So maybe nobody has Conqueror's Haki or something?
I mean, Conqueror's Haki is quite rare,
By the way, speaking of, like, background characters with too much design, this guy in the foreground here...
yes.
Just with the really cool, like, outfit, just looking over.
That's what I'm saying. And I like that monk guy on the left. I mean, he looks like a generic monk, but he stands out, nonetheless, on the page.
Yeah,
that guy clearly is he's one of the pirate guys. He's with Kaido, clearly. Because he doesn't look like a Japan boy, so he's got to be a Kaido guy.
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Oh, the guy I was talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he must be. Because like they just don't have foreigners in Wano-kuni, right? I mean, they might have some small amount, and obviously they have the pirate guys, but other than that, okay, whatever. I don't know. Anyway. This chapter is like weird and kind of just a lot of like describing things that are happening. So bear with us, viewers, as we continue to describe them extremely dryly.
Yeah, I mean,
people live in this
lot of-
town. We are being educated. Incredible.
Yeah,
They literally-
it's not really all that much gets said, but
Yeah.
you know.
Like, listen to this. It doesn't look like they'll tell us, but I see people here that don't look like fighters. Why is that? And then, O-kiku brilliantly, not extrapolates, says, the people living here have been living here their entire lives. Until 20 years ago, this was an energetic town that stood at the base of the castle. But then, or we're just, like, what are you telling us? That people live here? I already know that. Why do I need a fucking description? This seems like a useless panel and a useless bunch of text. I have no idea why he felt this was necessary to write.
It was sort of like, it is kind of redundant, because they already explained that in the leftover town is like the dregs of society. They were shoved out of, presumably here, because that's nearby, and it's like the only ones that remain are the ones who are important, the merchants that they can buy from or whatever, and the rest are the evil pirates.
Yeah, I guess that's what he's saying. He's just trying to describe the people who live here, I guess. There's essential personnel and the pirates, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And then they get the sumo slap man. He flies real far.
Oh, yes, that was cool. He's got a big, what do you call a 5-star? When you slap somebody on the back and you leave an imprint of your hand, 5-star in. It's good. We did that in Boy Scouts.
Look, you can see as they transition over to the sumo area, that is very deliberately
It's
a floating thing.
It's clearly floating. What is the deal? Why is it floating? Is fucking Kinshiki here? Is the Golden Lion Man here using his float fruit to make that thing?
He's having a nap, and they put a thing on top of him.
How strange. Yeah. But that thing is definitely floating and has been highlighted multiple panels. So I don't know why. Something's going on with that.
It could be a Japanese folklore thing.
Maybe it is.
But usually they would like make it make sense within the confines of One Piece universe logic. So
yeah,
I don't
right
know
now I have no idea.
Maybe it's a roof that ate the fly fruit.
It's possible. I guess I won't worry about it that much, but it does stand out as quite strange. So fair enough. And then there's Luffy using Gear 4th. Oh wait, no, it's just a sumo wrestle boy who's got tattoos and is looking sharp. He's very big. He's very large.
Urashima.
And that's him. He's that large lad. So he's fighting guys. He's beating them up. He's pushing them. Oh god, there's nothing interesting to say. He's just winning.
It's sort of. It's not really like something to complain about. It's just a lot of these panels are like, oh yeah, this big fat guy is really tough and he's really strong and he's broken a lot of bones. Look at how many bones he's broken. We know Luffy's gonna beat him. We know he's not gonna win. There's no reason to be scared of this guy. He's just big.
It's just I guess it's just like we're just going through the motions of like setting up characters and a setting right now. So not the most riveting thing in the world, but I can be patient.
Yeah, I mean, I was interested in the smile stuff. Like
of course. These pages I find quite dull, but whatever. Fair enough. They introduced a sumo wrestler. We had to see him sumo wrestle at least once, I guess. So now it's out of the way and we don't need to worry about it anymore.
Now there's an interesting, well, not interesting. It was just sort of weird, like this idea that O-kiku is like known by the people who live here.
Yeah.
Because like there was this one lady who says, like he says, "Oh, you followed me here after all. Have you decided to be my bride? It's O-kiku, haha." And then random people in the crowd who were like trying to win his affection were saying, he's gonna marry Urashima. And I'm like, how do you know who she is?
Well, okay, I don't think that panel implies that anyone knows who she is, but I do remember seeing something. Let me go to like the next page or something.
But Urashima, they didn't say Urashima. The first people who said it were, he says O-kiku, and then they say Urashima. And I'm like, how did you know that? was it
Wait,
a
but
translation?
no,
error?
Urashima is him though. He is Urashima.
Oh, she's got.
Yeah.
I'm dumb. All right.
Oh,
forget it.
though on like the last panel, they do kind of seem to imply that they know who she is. So we'll get to that in that page. In this case, they're just like, whoa, someone's gonna marry the big boy. Imagine them fucking. She's a big lass, and even she's not big enough for that situation. Okay, but you know what's funny? You know what's cute? Everyone's just like, there she is, that girl, he loves her. And she, like, hides behind Zoro. She's just like, ooh. And she's such a big bitch. There's the big bitch. She can't hide behind little old Zoro. He's a fucking manlet.
Yeah, you don't see it in a lot of the other panels because it's just her face or, like, framed in a way that you can't really tell. But in this one thing, it's like, oh, she's that's a big bitch over there.
Look at if you look at like the next panel after that, you can see her like bending down to like go into this tent, and next to her is Zoro, and she's still like several feet taller than him. She's a fucking monster, and I like that. I like that a lot.
Tall girls are
I'm warming
good.
to her, and she's gonna do something pretty soon. We'll get to it. So, I mean, she's just going on about the situation we already understand. He wants to marry me. Thank you for explaining. Like, this is a flashback to, like, last chapter. We don't need this.
Yeah, I feel like
God.
There's, like, I don't know what goes into deciding what goes into a chapter, but, like, we waited an extra week. There was no chapter last week. And then we get this. And it's like, this is setting up, it's like, it's full of nothing, and then it sets up for, a cool ending shot panel.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to get that ending shot, but to have stuff in between that was interesting, they didn't have that. They just had to say things that we already knew.
Yeah, that's the real problem.
More than was required.
Yep, it's not the greatest paced chapter of all time. Guys, I don't hate One Piece to say that I felt this chapter was not greatly paced, and there was a bit of redundant / unnecessary information given to us.
It's the problem. It's the problem with serialized things that have like gripping like hooks at the end of everything. Like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? You have to have that. But like, if she cut that in like a page or two before the chapter, you would need another thing to end the chapter.
That's true. I'm sure that does impact it. That's the unfortunate reality of the medium. All right, well, let's get to it. So, I mean, whatever. He's just saying, like, oh, look who came to see me. It's my bitch. And they're like, cool, guy.
And then everyone's like, she's a peasant girl. You can't. How can you do that? And he's like, shut up. And then that's as far as the social commentary really goes.
Yes, it's true.
It's like, he likes her anyway. Well, okay.
And then we see, Luffy's just ignoring this. Take me to the boss. They ignore him, and then they run over and they grab O-kiku. And this is funny. They just easily just take her. I don't know how they did this. Luffy and Zoro are right there. And Luffy's like, Zoro, why did you let them take her? And Zoro replies, cutting down naked man is a bit ...
It's a bit gay.
I think what he would say is like...
I don't want my sword to touch a guy.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that would
gross.
be gay. Poor Zoro. He's too much of a misogynist in that he doesn't respect women enough to want to cut them down, and it would be gay to cut down men. So he's really left with very few options as to who he can actually murder with his sword.
That's why he hasn't killed anyone. He only cuts people.
You're right. Though he has killed people in the past. That's confirmed. Anyway, okay, whatever. They snag O-kiku. She's being carried over. Things are getting crazy out of here. Okay, and here we go. Now the people are saying, like, hey, isn't that the girl from the tea house outside? That low-class trash? She's inferior to us. And here's where then we got, like, the big wrestle boy being like, silence commoners. In the eyes of the samurai, you're all low-class. Your lives are insignificant. It's I who decide whether you live or die. Isn't that right? O-kiku, blah, blah, blah. That's where I felt the most... I wonder if, like, actual samurai felt this way, like, in the olden days of Japan. I wonder.
mean, the equivalent would be, like, a lord. Like, you would have the people of the town, you would have, like, the mayor or whatever. And then the lord would come, and he owns, the nearby castle.
He'll fuck your wife for free.
I was given this land by the king. I own you and everybody here. And, that's...
I guess it pretty much is just that. Fair enough.
Like,
Fair enough.
I'm big and I'm a samurai. And then she does a thing. She says,
Yeah.
I do not know of anyone whom you refer to as lower class. So this is implying that she is not actually from... I mean, we already kind of knew she wasn't from...
Well, either she's not from... Well, it's a little bit strange.
Thing.
Either she's not, like, from Wano, or
No,
in some way
from
she
Wano.
kind of, like,
I'm
rejects...
I'm trying to think of the name of the town we were at, the leftover
The
town.
leftovers place.
Yeah,
I don't,
she's not
I'm not
from
going to remember these
leftovers.
names.
She's
Okobore,
saying,
I think. I think it was Okobore.
Yeah, she's not from Okobore. She's not a lower class, which is implying that she is of a high class, which means she is, like, literally, like officially a samurai. Not necessarily just a swords girl, but is in fact of noble status.
I think that's distinctly possible. That's probably what's gonna... Oh, fuck! Just remember how I said... Oh my god. Remember how I said last week, or whatever, that as opposed to the character in that Kyoto, like, stage play or whatever, whose name was O-kiku Hime-sama, as in was a princess, this one is totally different because she totally isn't a princess, you guys. Well, perhaps that's not going to turn out to be the case ultimately. Yeah. I mean, of note, like, that O-kiku was not a big old bitch. So perhaps, you know, there is some differences.
Dude,
but still.
What if this is like Momonosuke's big sister and she doesn't have the rights to the throne because she's a woman?
Whoa!
But she's a strong
Whoa! I love that idea. That sounds awesome, and I hope is true. Damn. I hope that
By the way,
happens.
I last time I was trying to think of a time when O-tama refused to eat. And it was like, it reminded me of something. And people were saying it reminds you of Punk Hazard, where Momonosuke refused to eat at the end when they were having the feast. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good thing, because it is a parallel. They're both samurai, you know, types. They have that ideal. So I was like,
yeah,
it's
there's
deliberate.
a thing going with that. Though, wait, Momonosuke wouldn't eat at the feast? Like
he didn't want to eat at the feast because he thought pirates were lowlifes, even though they helped him. And then his father was like, you know, he showed by example. He ate the food, and he said, Momonosuke, you need food. These people are good, even if they're pirates.
Right, that was like an emotional thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was crying at the end. It was cute.
I remember that. I remember that. And just to last point on this commentary, this social commentary here. I think what's being implied here by O-kiku's words isn't that she, like, I mean, obviously, I think she probably is like a princess or something, or at least a samurai daughter or something like that. But I think she's implying that, like, she rejects the class structure, and she's like, no, that's fucked up. That we got this. We got to be freedom boys. That's what I think.
I don't know that that's what she's saying. I think she just doesn't like him and the people of his ilk who are like assholes.
Understand.
Like, I could imagine, even in times of peace, if she was like the older sister, you know, and her younger brother was heir to the throne, and she was a woman, and she's like, you can't. You know, everyone's like, you can't be the emperor. You can't be a samurai. What are you trying to do, bitch? Get back in the Japanese kitchen. And she's like, fucking, I'm done with everybody. I'm gonna slice your top knot off. I'm gonna slice it right off.
And there she goes. She swipes and snipes his top knot right the fuck off with a cool guy samurai teleport slash. Oh, it looks cool, and I like her.
It's a really cool thing. And I know the top knot is very symbolic of, like, a samurai's
a big dick.
strength.
The bigger your top knot, the bigger dick and balls.
I distinctly remember something from Wikipedia.com or somewhere where it's like the top knot, they let it grow as long as they haven't lost a fight. And so having like a big top knot means like you're a Superman. And that's why it's shameful to like lose a fight and have to cut it off.
Are you sure you're not thinking of the hair from Game of Thrones with Khal Drogo with the long hair?
I mean, it's a thing all over the land to be like dude hair. Lots of cultures have dude hair, so like, I think I'm pretty accurate with that.
I think
if I'm wrong, comment about it.
I just Googled it real quick. I mean, it's just the chon mage or something. It just says it's like a commonly associated hairstyle of the Edo period samurai and sumo wrestlers in more recent times. So whatever. I mean, yeah, I get the idea. At the very least, this is clearly a statement of like, no, fuck you. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. She's going to go start a band called Rage Against the Top Knot. It's going to be sick.
It's definitely like, you know, a status thing. Like getting rid of the top knot is like, oh. I'm trying to think of an equivalent in Western culture.
The dick. You just cut the dick off and you're like, well, fuck you, dude.
Oh, it would be like in Arabic
like a big
cultures.
Cowboy hat?
No, in Arabic cultures, like, the bigger the beard, the cooler the guy. Like,
Sure.
They love beards. So, like, if you shaved off his beard with a sword slice, I'll be like, oh, that's such an insult.
That's true.
That's the sort of thing.
I like particularly how serious O-kiku is here. Just everything about her makes me... she was so flustered a couple minutes ago, hiding behind Zoro. But here she's being a badass. She's good, and I like her. I can't wait for her to definitely not get a good fight this arc. I'm 100% sure that she won't, because that's just how One Piece works.
Right.
This is the coolest thing she will ever do. I can guarantee it.
No, I can't. No? I can't accept it. I want her to do something that is actually good.
We'll see.
I want a One Piece woman to have an impact on the story that is a really like positive one.
# give Nami a fight. That's what I want to start. # give Nami a fight. I know Robin's weird. Fights with her are going to be hard. You can give Nami a fight, a one-on-one fight with a female, or I don't care, fucking fight a man. It doesn't matter to me. But give her a dope-ass fight, because I know that Oda is not going to, spend the time to give, a side character any kind of, actually serious fight. Like, case in point, Tashigi got cucked, Zoro beat the fight for her. Rebecca, Daddy fought the fight for her. I don't know, Konus didn't do anything. Vivi did things, but she, her actions did in fact amount to nothing. And it was all Luffy who did everything to solve the actual war. Yes, that's what happened. That's what happened. I mean, I think her role would she might have talked to Koza to try to stop the fighting or something.
I just realized.
What?
Robin in her geisha outfit.
Yeah.
Doing her thing. I think with her petal, it's a flower fruit.
Yeah.
That's quite symbolic, Japanese sakura,
True.
all that Japanese stuff. She could have a very fancy fight with somebody.
Oh, that's,
She could have all her hands with fans and throwing knives and be a ninja.
That's true.
Geisha.
It's always been very, Robin's powers are to generate hands, but then there 100% is a weird particle effect of flowers that happens when she uses it. Because there's a pun going on there, Hana being hand as well as flower or something. Let's emphasize the flower part of this shit. And make cool things happen, Robin. Do some good stuff with that. But
I really want to see her utilize her complete cloak, Kagebunshi no Jutsu power that she literally has, and
she does have that. She is an assassin. That is her speciality in terms of combat and shit.
Now I just want to see like Naruto, but with Robin, and no other characters are changed. Just Robin as Naruto.
Is Naruto
doing the Kagebunshin.
Oh, that'd be very good.
She's taller than everyone. She's a fully grown woman, and with little Sakura and little Sasuke, and she's just is Robin.
When you've got Nico Robin as your Naruto, every jutsu is sexy no jutsu. Oh,
yeah.
If you remember that, I remember that. That was good. Also harem jutsu. I have watched Memoirs of a Geisha. All right, moving on.
Wait.
We're done. We're done.
Yeah.
The only thing else happens is that people react to how cool and dope this was that O-kiku did, as we have just done.
Yep.
There you go. And Luffy's impressed, and Zoro is like, "Ugh, things are really heating up. Ugh, I'm lubing up my rod. I'm oiling my drill bits. I'm masturbating my penis." Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. And there should be a chapter next week. Nothing else to say. Any other comments on this chapter? I don't have much else to say.
Yeah.
It was okay. There was some cool stuff, but this was pretty boring. It was pretty.
Yeah.
It's like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't nothing in it offended me in terms of like not making sense or being dumb or anything. It just like was kind of except redundancy and unnecessary information is annoying.
It's just sort of, that one panel at the end where she slices the top knot.
Yes.
You could have opened on that and it wouldn't have made sense, but then you could have done a flashback.
I guess so, like a one panel flashback too. That's true. That's true. And we saw Holdem. He was a good lad. I liked him.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing like wrong with this chapter aside from a bit of padding.
Yeah. Not every chapter is going to be great, especially the beginning of an arc. I understand that. I'll wait for things to heat up. I want to see the big bitch do some more cool stuff, hopefully. And that's it. That's all I got. Carrot will never join the crew. That is delusional if you think so. That's all I have to say.
Where does that come from?
People keep posting it, and it. People are quite serious about it, and it just comes to mind. That's all.
Hey, in Japan they see a rabbit making food with a hammer in the moon instead of
mochi.
the man in the moon. Carrot's gonna stay in Wano making rice balls. That's what's gonna be the end.
Whoa! What if this happens?
What if Carrot becomes emperor, guys?
Specifically, Carrot. Those rabbits are making mochi in the sky. What if I have predicted that Katakuri will break off from the Big Mom Pirates and form his own crew. If Carrot joins that crew.
As the captain.
As Katakuri's used to being a bottom bitch, so would make sense.
She asks him and he's like, oh, okay.
Okay, Mrs. Rabbit, I guess. And every night they get really kinky because they're also fucking. And he turns into the mush and gets into that like traditional Japanese like mochi
and she
making
gets the
thing.
hammer.
She gets the hammer.
Thing.
Yes. Oh, and they get that guy. Remember that other rabbit from Whole Cake Island who had like the spear, like diamond spear guy? Remember that guy?
What?
There was another rabbit. There was a white rabbit. He was like a fight man. Remember that guy? In the woods at the beginning. They get that guy, and him and Carrot, they both, as a sexual fantasy of Katakuri's, they squish him and squash him in the little mochi pot, and he fucking loves it. That's what happens, guys. That's it. So thanks for listening. Patreon.com/thepodcastpirates for more amusing anecdotes and tall tales such as this one. Join the Pod D Discord, the Discord server down below. It's free, but then be a patron if you want to get into all the cool places and not be a filthy white. That's what I recommend. That's what you should do. And we'll see you next time. We'll see you next time with a new chat.
See you next time.
Goodbye.